Well, hello, and welcome back to another video. It's quite windy out today, and although I have a long sleeve on and pants and socks, the top is like cropped, so air's coming in through the back. And usually it's not windy when I film, so definitely not used to this, but nonetheless, I'm very excited to be talking about what I'm talking about today and just fixing my hair a little bit. That will bug me afterwards like it normally does when it's all messed up. But I'm talking about ABC Family shows at their height. So I would say from the start of like Greek and Secret Life of the American Teenager to the end of Pretty Little Liars was their kind of like decade of icon. I don't know what you want to say, but I watched a lot of their shows. I was very obsessed or fangirly over some of them, and some of them I just watched here and there and didn't really care. So that kind of rhymed. But I haven't talked about television in a while. I think the last one I did was on Friends. Oh my goodness, the lighting is just all kinds of wacky. It's like sunny over there, and anywho. So my videos are always pretty raw and not very well put together, so I guess we're just gonna go with the weird lighting in the background. I'm gonna start with Secret Life of American Teenager because I had a friend, I think it was like I was 10 years old, and she was watching it. She had an older brother. She was kind of exposed to a lot of this stuff way before me. I don't think her parents were Christians and didn't really shelter her in that way, so she just kind of watched whatever. And so that's the first I heard of Secret Life of the American Teenager. She's also the first person that told me about YouTube. I literally thought when she told me about it, there was like a U and then tube instead of saying it out loud like Y-O-U. So yeah, she kind of introduced me to a lot of stuff, but I heard about Secret Life. It's like this girl gets pregnant and all of that stuff. But it took me a while to actually watch the show. I started to watch ABC Family, I think before I started watching Secret Life, or shortly after I started watching ABC Family, I watched Secret Life, somewhere around that time. I don't know if it was the very first show that I watched. I think Pretty Little Liars is what got me into ABC Family. I keep wanting to say Freeform in my mind because they switched names halfway through this like era, and so it's hard to keep track. But if I do slip up and I say Freeform, you know, I'm talking about ABC Family, but that is the new name now, as everyone may or may not know. So yeah, let's just go down a list. So I'm gonna look and make sure I don't miss anything because there might be some shows that I kind of forget about. So since I already mentioned Secret Life, we'll just talk about it, although it wasn't the first show that I watched. We'll talk about them in order of appearance. So I guess we'll start with Greek. Greek is something that I actually recently watched last year, I want to say it was, somewhere during 2020, 2021 on Hulu or something like that. I found Greek on one of those streaming platforms. I'm pretty sure it was Hulu. And I started to watch it because what else are you going to do? I, again, had always heard of it, but it felt like it was way too adult for me at the time. I mean, all of these are pretty adult for me, but by the time Greek had like come and gone, I was just not interested. It was about college kids. I was like sororities and drinking and parties. Not really something I was like interested in. It felt way too far off for me, and I wasn't even really interested in Greek sorority life to begin with. It's not a very big thing in Southern California, so I honestly kind of just wrote off the show and didn't really pay much attention to it. But I did watch it recently. I don't think I watched all of it. I think I watched maybe like a couple seasons. And it was really good. It was really interesting, stereotypical teen drama, but that's what felt so like wholesome about it, although it's not a very wholesome show. It's just about kids in college and their Greek life versus like superheroes, and especially with shows like Pretty Little Liars or The Lying Game, where there's a lot of mystery and secrets and intrigue. This one is just like, oh, Sally likes Bob and Bob likes Sally, but for whatever reason they can't get together, on again, off again, on again, off again. Or, you know, like Jimmy comes in to mess up Sally and Bobby and everything gets all topsy-turvy, and friendships and rivalries and backstabbing, and yeah, so basically just like stereotypical drama. I honestly really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun from what I can remember watching it. So yeah. And then Secret Life, I was trash for this show. Amy and Ricky, I actually remember their character names, which is really sad because I watched Greek more recently, so you'd think that I would remember some of the names of the characters, but I don't. I don't remember any of their names. I'm sure if you put them in front of me, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's right, that was their name. But off the top of my head, don't remember a single person's name on that show. I know what they look like. One had like shaggy brown hair, and was kind of a slacker, and one girl had like blonde, shortish, medium hair, and was kind of like type A. And they had the on-again, off-again relationship, and then there was a gay character, and then like her best friend, you know, like it's kind of fuzzy. I binge watched it. I was probably editing photos while I was watching it. Honestly, I think that's why I watched it. I was editing photos. Anywho, moving on. Talk way too much about a show I don't even really care about. Secret Life. So I really want Amy and Ricky to end up together. I shipped them so hard. I actually stopped watching the show before it ended because I just didn't really care, I guess. And I think also this is around the time that I became a Christian, is when I stopped watching it, because I was like, this is not a good show. It's about sex, lots of sex. I mean, Secret Life of American Teenager, you can't get pregnant without having sex. So I didn't really like that later on. And there was just a lot of like switching boyfriends, and the Christian girl, her real life is Megan, like her real name is Megan in real life, whatever that sentence is trying to be. She was like a Christian girl who like ended up giving up her morals and values and ended up having sex. And I was just like, I don't know. It was just, I didn't care anymore. But I was really sad to find out later on that they didn't end up together, that Amy and Ricky didn't end up together, and she got with like Jake, I think was his name. Honestly, I blocked him out of my head because I did not like him from day one. Yeah, so Shailene Woodley went off to do bigger and better things. I'm sure she probably likes to forget about her time on Secret Life, but that's what launched her career. And so, although a lot of actors do kind of like questionable things for their first big project, I mean, probably every actor on Riverdale, except for Cole Sprouse because he's already famous, but every other actor on Riverdale was like a nobody before that show. And so, although now that they're like very big and famous, they're probably like, oh my gosh, you know, this is on my record of film activity things that I've done, acting gigs, and it's fun to like be embarrassed, but at the same time, it's what launches you into stardom. So doing a teen show can make or break your career, depending on which one you do. Make it or break it. Talking about making it or breaking your career. I did not plan that segue. This is all on the fly. There's no script other than me having this Wikipedia list to go off of, but that was amazing. So, yeah. I watched the show probably like halfway through and then it got canceled. So, kind of sad for me. I really like gymnastics. And I don't know why I didn't watch it at first. I got commercials for all these shows. Like, when I was watching Secret Life, I got commercials for Greek, and I was like, nah, not about it. Honestly, it's probably a good thing, because I was watching way too many TV shows, 8th grade, freshman year, and sophomore year. I had like 17 TV shows that I was watching at one point. Now, mind you, I had to wait every week. It's not like I was binging 17 shows like we do now. This was like kind of the beginnings. Like, this was before Netflix became super big, or around the time Netflix became big. But a lot of people were still watching things week to week and not binging as much. So, yeah, 17 shows between cop shows and sitcoms, ABC Family, all that. I had a lot on my plate. That's also before high school got really stressful. So, yeah. Okay, but make it or break it, I really liked the actors on it. I liked the storylines. There were some couples that I rooted for, but I wasn't like obsessed with ship icon, you know, as much as I was with some of the other shows I watched. So then there's 10 Things I Hate About You. Honestly, did not watch a single episode of the show. I remember getting commercials for it, and I paid no attention. So we're moving on. Okay, 2010, the iconic Pretty Little Liars. This is what got me into ABC Family. I don't know how. I remember seeing a commercial or something for Pretty Little Liars. I was watching Teen Nick at this point. That's what it was. I was watching Teen Nick. Because I was like, what other teen network drama was I watching? It was Teen Nick. and I was watching Degrassi. So Degrassi was like my intro. Talk about like wanting to keep myself sheltered. LOL, Degrassi, dead. Just because like American Secret Life is just like nothing compared to Degrassi. But anywho, so Degrassi had a commercial like on Teen Nick about Pretty Little Liars to promote the show because it was coming out in 2010. And that's how I started watching ABC Family. I was watching Pretty Little Liars from like pretty much the very beginning. I came in like a couple episodes into season 1. I don't think I started from the pilot, but I definitely came in season 1. So I was with that show from the very beginning. I was not with that show till the end, but yeah. Okay, so Pretty Little Liars 2010, Melissa and Joey 2010. I also think I started watching Melissa and Joey its first season, or again, like halfway through the first season, because I loved Melissa Joan Hart on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And so that's how I recognized her. And I was like, oh, I should watch the show. This is so cool. She's an adult now. Like, this could be fun. And she had kids who she had to take care of. It was her sister's kids. She's in like prison or something. So it was a really fun dynamic. It's the whole like kind of based off of the nanny type of thing, except it's reversed because the guy's the nanny. At least that's what I assume they got their inspiration from. They have a lot of chemistry. They did a movie together that I just recently rewatched called My Fake Fiancé. Honestly, their wedding in My Fake Fiancé was better than the show, and that's kind of sad to say because I love the show, but their wedding was like nothing compared to the one in My Fake Fiancé. So that's my headcanon for Melissa and Joey. Yeah, I love that show. I couldn't wait for them to get together. They got together before the show ended, and I loved it. It was like so good. I started to rewatch a couple episodes just to like reminisce, but it's definitely a show that like has a place in my heart that I'll like go back to every once in a while, even if it's just to watch the like one fandom video that exists of that show. Save my heart. But it's okay. I just pick shows that have no fandom videos. It's fine. I'm like really sassy today, and I'm here for it. I think it's because I was watching, I don't even know his name, Michael's Mike, I think is his YouTube channel name. He's doing Pretty Little Liars recap, and this is the third and final part. And I think this is what inspired me to do this YouTube video today. But he is very sassy in his videos and very witty and comedical. I don't know if that's a word, so I think I'm channeling his energy and like his persona. Okay, so then Switched at Birth came out. Okay, yeah, 2010 was the start of the iconicness of this because it's just like one hit show after the next. Like, I'm gonna read off so many iconic shows in my mind, and this was like my 8th grade year. So you can just imagine my like 7th grade, 8th grade year going into freshman year of high school. The icon for television. 2011 is honestly such an iconic year for music as well. The next video I should do in the future, maybe not right after this, gotta have a break from all the entertainment stuff, but I should do a video on all the iconic songs that came out in 2011, because that year was a bop. Okay, Switched at Birth. Sign language icons, because what other show has done sign language like Switched at Birth? Before or after? None. None that I know of, at least. It was really cool. I love sign language. I only know that this is coffee and this is making out, and this is no, this is love. So like I remember picking up some of the stuff that they would do, and I knew a lot more when I was watching the show. A lot of it has like kind of faded away, but it really made me want to do sign language in high school. But I went to a school that didn't have sign language, and my friend went to a school that did, and she did sign language, and I was very jealous. So yeah, I also really love Bay and what's the guy's name? He's on The Lion Game. I love that actor. He went to Switched at Birth first, and then he went to The Lion Game. I don't want to say Ethan, because I think Ethan is his Lion Game character name, and not in Switched at Birth. But if you know, you know. So I really like them together. And then they got with Emmett, and I was like, okay, I can be here for this. But then they ended up breaking up for whatever reason. I don't remember. Something, betrayal, hurt, disappointment. And then I just really didn't like the show after that. I never liked the love interest for Katie, I think is her name. Whoever the girl is that has red hair that's deaf. I never liked her love interest. They like came and went. It was like whiplash. None of them had any lasting power. And she got with some really, really questionable people, like adults. I really liked the mom. I think her real name is Constance. She was in George Lopez, so that was like kind of made me interested in the show. And I love George Lopez, so that was cool. And I really liked the whole like kind of blended family dynamic, although, you know, it's like a very unconventional type of blended family, but I really liked the dynamic that they all had together. And Lucas Gabriel was in it, and he was in High School Musical, so like, again, lots of icons. Okay, so I feel like my nose is running because it's cold outside. Whew, man. This is going to be such a long video, but talking about this next one is literally going to get me, the next two are going to get me so riled up. 9 Lives of Chloe King, and then after that is Lying Game. Okay, let's just talk about 9 Lives of Chloe King for just a second. This only got 1 season, so I feel like I'm a little bit more annoyed / bitter about this show than I am about Lying Game, because Lying Game got 2 seasons. But 9 Lives was such a cool premise. A girl who's like cat-like and has 9 lives, and she can't kiss humans. And her love interest in the show is a human. And then the other love interest is her like other cat-like person guardian. And so he likes her and she likes the human, and the human likes her, but she can't be with the human because they can't kiss or else he'll die. And then as the show progresses, she starts to get closer to the guardian, and so there's like this love triangle push and pull. Obviously, I'm rooting for the guardian because this actor, I feel like, is cursed. He also plays the like second love interest in a show on the CW called Star. Oh gosh, I can't believe I forgot the name. I literally went to a convention just for this show. It's not Stardust. It's not Starstruck. Wow, this is so embarrassing. I used to be obsessed with this show. But whatever. I'll do a whole episode on this for CW, and then I'll have it. Star-Crossed! I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I don't know if I'm right. But anywho, similar thing with that show. So this actor's just cursed. But anywho, the premise was really good. It was like just the perfect level of dark and mysterious, and also like kind of, well, I want to say like lighthearted, but just, it wasn't like too dark. It was like a nice balance. It's on ABC Family, you know, you can't get too dark, but I really liked the premise, and the show got canceled way before it deserved. There was a cliffhanger. She kissed the guy and the guy was dying, and I'm sure there was like some other bigger plot line. As you can see, I really care about the like shipping and romances of the shows. Honestly, I probably won't watch a show unless there's a good ship that I can root for and that I know is not gonna like end tragically if the show has already ended. If the show's in the middle, then like maybe I'll take a risk on the tragic ending, but you know, I'll stop watching as soon as it starts to go downhill. So, The Lying Game. This is based off of a book from the same author as Pretty Little Liars. I don't know her name. I'm sorry. Stephenie Meyer does not seem right. I think Stephenie Meyer did Twilight, so I don't know the girl's name. It will probably come to me later. But anywho, Marlene King, I think, was maybe not the author, but she was the showrunner. Anywho, Pretty Little Liars took off, huge success. They're like, let's adapt another book of hers. Lying Game. Okay, Lying Game was so good. Twins with like trying to find out who the birth parents are, switching places. All the characters were so great. The storylines were so great. You had no idea who was good or bad or their motives or anything like that. And there's a love triangle with Emma and Ethan and Sutton. It's gonna be such a long video. And I obviously was rooting for Emma and Ethan, and then Sutton was with Thayer, but then they broke up, and then Thayer got with Emma, and I did not like them together. He was like major creeper vibes. Excuse me. And I just feel like Sutton and Thayer just like got each other more and deserved each other in a way. And Thayer was just like so overprotective and kind of controlling. And I just love the sweet and innocence that Emma and Ethan had with each other. And Ethan knew right away that this was not Sutton. And so he was the only one in on their secret for the longest time. And so obviously they bonded because of that, because that's the only person she can be her real self around and actually share things with, because everyone else she's lying with, hence the lying game. So yeah, I'll never not be upset about the ending and one, ruining that ship that was just so iconic. I just love like trust and safe haven vibes. Not talking about the Safe Haven movie, because don't get me started on Nicholas Sparks. I'll have to do a whole video on that alone, because I found a video from me in 8th grade talking about The Notebook, and it's honestly very funny. I feel like I'm getting more normal as the video goes on, which is kind of nice for me and you. Jane by Design, I really like this. It was very fun. It's kind of like best friend vibes. She's been best friends with this guy for the longest time, and you know, it's kind of like, are we going to be more than friends? Are we not? You can kind of tell that he likes her, but she's just kind of oblivious, wants to like do her career. And it was really fun. It was lighthearted. She was spunky. I think it only had like 1 or 2 seasons as well. A lot of these shows had so much potential, and they just axed them right away, which is unfortunate. And then Bunheads was about dancing. It was about ballet. I think I watched maybe 1 episode, maybe 2. I feel like it was too lighthearted. Like, there was not enough drama and intrigue, which, like, honestly says a lot about me than it does about the show. But, I don't know, I like drama and intrigue when I'm watching a show that's supposed to be a drama and not a comedy. I like my shows to stay within the genre and use it to the full maximum, but not go Riverdale maximum, you know? Okay. Baby Daddy. That is another iconic show. I loved Riley, the, like, actress. She was in a lot of Disney shows and movies and stuff like that. So I really follow actors' careers. If I see an actor that I like, it makes me want to watch the show. And so I do that more than I follow like creators, which is kind of funny because as someone who went to film school and did screenwriting, you think that I would follow like screenwriters, directors, or things like that. But honestly, don't really do that. I follow actors. So yeah. And I really like the whole Danny Riley thing. I think that they didn't do a good job with the payoff of it. They did a lot of good building up and wanting you to anticipate it and root for them to get together and for her to figure out that he has loved her all their lives, and for him to get the courage to actually tell her. But in the meantime, Ben and Riley did make a fun couple, and if Danny wasn't there, then maybe I would have rooted for Ben and Riley a little bit more, and the payoff of Danny and Riley getting together honestly wasn't that great. Maybe it's just because the show was going downhill with writers and actors and things like that, but the best parts of the show were definitely like season 2, season 3. Like with most shows, season 3 is the best season. I think I've done a whole video on my theory with that. Then there is Twisted, and I'm also skipping some that I've like never heard of or paid attention to, but Twisted I did pay attention to with the trailers for the show. The trailers looked very twisted, the previews and stuff, but I don't think I ever watched an episode. Maybe like 1 episode or half an episode. I just was not interested, and you think I would be because it's twisted, and I like twisted stuff. But yeah, I got canceled after I think a season or 2, so kind of a flop. Then there was The Fosters, which came out in 2013, and that one I watched maybe like 1 or 2 seasons, if that. I think I only watched 1 season. But I honestly felt very convicted after going to Hume Lake, a Christian camp, of just like the shows that I was watching in general and how much TV I was watching. And so because the 2 main characters are a gay couple, I was just like, don't really feel comfortable watching something like this be heavily promoted. It's one thing to have like a gay character, but to have like the whole premise of the show be under a lesbian couple, I was like, I don't really feel comfortable with this. Also, just like the things that they were doing with Brandon and Callie being like step siblings or foster siblings or whatever felt very kind of weird, but like I was rooting for them, and it's like I can't believe a TV show made me root for them, but like I did because their chemistry was amazing and I like definitely wanted them to get together. And I just wanted her to age out and for them to get married. And I was like, why does it matter that you get adopted? Like once you're in marriage, you're basically under the family. Like you're in the family. It's like you're adopted when you marry in. So I just never understood that, and it pissed me off a lot of what the writers did, and them sleeping together right before her hearing, her thinking that she wasn't going to get adopted and then she does, is so messed up. And I feel like they just gaslit each other so much and were really selfish, and I really felt bad for Brandon. I did not feel bad for Callie. I think she used him, and I was messed up. So that's my opinion on that show. Also, the guy from Wizards of Waverly Place was in that show, and I liked him as an actor. He was dating this girl on the show who did wrestling with him, and I thought they were cute, but then they broke up. So, yeah, I dropped that show. The Vineyard, honestly, such a trashy show. I am so sad to admit that I watched this and enjoyed every second of it. It was over the summer, and it was basically kind of like I'm assuming one of those, like, Jersey shows. It's just a bunch of, like, young adults doing trashy stuff on a beach in a beach house. But I watched every single episode of that show, so yeah. Ravenswood. I did not watch a single episode of this show. It's a spinoff from Pretty Little Liars. Caleb went from that show to this one. And I also liked one of the actresses. She was on, like, Jonas LA or something like that. She was in a lot of Disney stuff too. Kind of makes sense that they stay within the family. ABC family. The ABC family. Okay, enough with that. But I never watched it. I think it's because I was mad that they took Caleb away from Pretty Little Liars, and I thought the premise of the show was stupid. And it turned out it was, because it got canceled and he came back. So, win for me. Chasing Life was honestly, this is 2014 now, so sad. So sad. I mean, obviously it's about cancer, but, like, spoiler ahead, he dies. Her husband dies. Like, she's not the one that dies. He does. And then she gets with, like, some other random dude. The episode that he died, I was out. I was like, bye. She gets with, like, her coworker, who, like, they had this, like, on again, off again thing from, like, the very beginning, but, like, she ended up choosing her husband. And then when he died, she was like, I guess I'll get with you now. And honestly, the same thing happened on a CW show, Jane the Virgin. Again, I need a whole episode about CW shows because I kind of forgot about how much I was into those shows as well. I feel like I went from ABC Family, my feet are asleep, but the video's not over yet. It's almost over. It's getting very long. I've made a lot of long videos recently, so hopefully you like it. But yeah, it's literally almost over because we're phasing out of the shows. So what was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, I did ABC Family, and then I kind of transitioned to the CW because I just didn't really like the direction ABC Family was going in, because then it, like, started to become freeform, and I don't know, the premises of the shows on the CW were just a lot better to me. So then there was Young and Hungry, which had Emily Osment. I don't think I watched an episode of this at all. Honestly, I was watching way too many shows, so I probably just couldn't add another show, but it didn't, like, grab my attention. I know that, like, I had an interesting premise, because I remember, again, enjoying the previews of it, but yeah, not enough to be like, yeah, I'm gonna, like, sit down and watch this whole thing. So then, that's pretty much it. I'll talk about Stitchers, because Stitchers in 2015 is the last thing I remember, which I think is around the time that I stopped watching Pretty Little Liars, so that makes sense. But I remember Stitchers coming out, and this is, like, the height of sci-fi stuff starting to, like, be very much marketed, and the height of sci-fi. So, yeah, I just remember the commercials for it and thinking this is just a weird premise that I don't understand and don't care about. And so, yeah, then I switched to just the CW only. I dropped Pretty Little Liars after season 6, I want to say. I did not watch the last season of Pretty Little Liars because it was just trash at that point. But I did keep up with, like, some plot lines with the show. And yeah, I guess I skipped over Pretty Little Liars, like, talking about the show, and I just kept going. So we'll just end with Pretty Little Liars. I read the books. I didn't read all of them. I read maybe, like, 1 or 2. Same with Blind Game. And they're obviously different. I really love Spencer, Troy, and Belisario, and honestly all of them were iconic to me. I remember all their names. I know the actors' names. Emily Field was, oh my gosh, Shailene Woodley? LOL. And then Hannah Marion was Ashley Benson, and then Lucy Hale played Aria Montgomery. LOL, hopefully I didn't mess that up. But yeah, I met the guy, Keegan Allen, who played Toby. Okay, well, I guess I'm editing this video again. Yay for long videos. I'm literally almost done, but I was mentioning I met Keegan Allen, who played Toby, because he made a photography book, so that was really cool. And I was really into Spencer and Toby, although now looking back, I'm like, did they have the best chemistry? I don't know, but I like their storyline, and Spencer was like, just her acting and her character just felt the most relatable to me. I didn't really like Aria and Ezra. I tried to like them for a hot second, and then I was like, no, they're annoying. Aria's annoying. I don't like them. And then Hannah and Caleb were kind of interesting, but I was like, meh. And then, well, Emily was a lesbian, so I was like, don't really love that. But also her love interests were just not great, but don't really, no, we're just gonna move on from that. So, yeah. Trying to think what else with that show. It went downhill. If you know the ending, it was trash. They brought in Spencer's evil twin from Britain. What? I was like, LOL. And I also just don't really love the time jump that they did. They stretched out the show so much. Honestly, Mona was the best thing. Janelle Parrish, amazing. And my throat's getting really scratchy now. But I feel after season 2, when they revealed that she was A, it just was meh. Although season 3 and 4 were the best of that. I mean, honestly, because of Torian's acting. I feel after season 4 they should have ended it. They should have revealed Big A after season 4 and had Allison come back and then ended the show. And instead of making Allison nice again and reintegrating her and then having another A and then another A and then a time jump and then switching love interests 5 bajillion times, it was just annoying. So yeah, but it was iconic, and there you go. ABC Family shows, an era. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video of me ranting about television and living through my teen years again. So have a great day. I will link down Mike's videos because they're great to put on when I'm editing. I just love his commentary, and they're 2 hours long, so it's just great. I could just edit. I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna go. Peace out, dudes, and I'll see you next time.